Hi, my name is Sandra Young, and I have been coming to the church now for a year. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to be able to tell my story about tithing. The Lord took me from believing that I can't afford to tithe to I can't afford not to tithe. And that all began in '98. I graduated from college. I was a new social worker working for the state, and I went through a divorce. I had 2 children, young children at the time, 8 and 10 years old, working full time on crazy hours with my job. When I sat down and did my bills, and I looked at the income coming in and the bills that need to be paid out, it was only 75%. And that was just for the basics. I was like, okay, Lord, you say to test you in this, and that is what I'm doing. I really had no other choice. I just decided I got paid twice a month. As the bills came in, I was just gonna pay them out. After over a few months, like everything was getting paid. There wasn't anything that wasn't. My children were still able to do their sports. I was still able to, pay for all that was needed, put food on the table. God was faithful, and He has always remained faithful, even when I didn't. There was times I went in and out of it. I would stop tithing, but then those were the times that the car would break down or the refrigerator would break down. There was always something big that I was having to put money out for. And, He'd just come back in and guide me back, like, get back on track, Sandra. And so to this day, I tithe. And when I started tithing, I didn't just be like, oh, well, I'll tithe off my net income. I went all in, because like I said, I knew that there was no way my bills were gonna get paid unless God paid them. So I have always tithed off my gross amount. And a lot of times that amount really is gross, but but God has always been faithful. A few years back in 2016, God called me to go even further. It's not just about tithing, it's about offerings also. God told me, I want you to start putting a $100 bill in your purse, and once a month, just give it away to someone, and do that for the next year. I was thinking, I really don't have an extra $100, but again, I was going to be faithful because I knew He was. That first time when the Lord spoke to me about it, I kind of lingered for a few days, and then one day I was like, I just really felt Him tugging upon my heart. You have got to get that $100 bill. So that morning I went to the bank and I got it. And that evening I was at a small group that I attended at my church. And there was a man in there, and he had been out of work for a few months, and they were living off of his wife's income. And so I just really felt compelled that that was the person that I would give the $100 to, just to help out with groceries or whatever. So at the end of the group, before I was leaving, I told him what I just said, and I gave him the money, and he was like, thank you. Well, shortly after that, the pipe in my house, from the house to the road, busted. But it was gonna cost me about $10,000 to repair. Well, I didn't even have $1,000 in the bank. So I knew this person, the guy who I'd given the money to earlier, I knew he was a plumber, so I contacted him and I was like, hey, do you know of a company that I could trust to do this project for me? And he was like, well, I'll do it, because he was a master plumber, and I didn't realize that. I was like, oh, okay. I said, well, give me an estimate, but if you can give me some other, places where I can call to get an estimate from them too, because it's, gonna cost a lot. And he was like, no, you don't understand. I'm gonna do it for you for free. All you have to do is just pay for the parts. So instead of $10,000, I paid $1,400 for that. And then on top of that, like right after that, I had filed a claim with the VA. I was injured during a deployment back in 2011. 2012, I filed with the VA, and several times they kept denying my claim, even though I had injured myself when I was there. But at this time in 2016, when all this was going on, it went through. And so I not only got like the back pay to help cover what I just had to pay for that, it was also an extra 100 some odd dollars a month, which would cover the $100 a month that I thought I wasn't gonna have. And I have testimony after testimony, but God is so faithful. He doesn't need the money. He owns 1,000 cattle in the hills, right? He wants our heart, not our money. And He wants us to give it joyfully. He doesn't want us to give it begrudgingly. So I encourage you, just test God in this. He's faithful.